Hey, thanks so much for tuning into the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. Today is Talk About It Tuesday, and we're going through a passage of Scripture in Matthew chapter 7. And I'll be reading Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 and 25 today. Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice, and this is Jesus speaking here. He's saying, listening to my words, but actually doing what I say, is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock.
Now this is so good. Jesus is using several metaphors here to explain some things to us in a unique way to get us thinking a little bit deeper. He uses the example of a house, of a rock in this passage, as well as storms, rain and wind and streams rising. What do these things mean? Is he literally speaking of a physical house, a physical rock, and physical storms? No, he's using them as imagery to teach us a deep truth. And so what does house refer to, Pastor, in this passage?
In this passage, house refers to our life. We all have lives that we make decisions, and we, just like in a house that we live in right now, we make decisions on the layout of it and what we put priorities in. Like we have a living room right here with a piano in it where we are putting a priority there because our daughter is playing piano right now. And so the house represents our life.
Our life. It's what we're building our life upon, the decisions we're making, the priorities we're making, all of those things. Then it talks about a rock in this part. Yesterday we read the whole scripture. We'll hit the second half later this week. But this is talking about the wise builder. And Jesus says it's who takes his words and puts them into practice. They're building their house, their life on the rock. What is the rock referring to?
Rock refers to Jesus. He refers to the rock as himself. He says, if you build in your life, and we all have these decisions that we need to make, but you can have the best looking house from the outside, but if you aren't laying the foundation, if you're not putting my words into practice, he's saying, when the storms come.
Well, that goes into the next piece then.
Yeah.
What are storms? So the house is our life. The rock is Jesus, the foundation, the security, dependability, something constant that we can stand on. The storms of this life are hardship.
That's right.
Struggle. We all face them. We all have them. We'll read later this week about the foolish builder who builds on the sand. And yet he says the same storms come. It's not like those who put their life on Jesus versus those who put their life on this world don't feel storms. You still will, but your life will be secure in Him.
That's right. And so those storms are those doubts, those fears. Everyone.
Sickness, disease, tension, all of that stuff.
So everyone goes through those, but where is our foundation? And that's the question that we want to ask you. That's what we want you to talk about with someone else, is where are we putting our foundation on? Is it Jesus? Are we taking his word for what it is and applying what he has to say to our lives?
Yeah.
And when we do, we won't crash when those storms come, when that doubt comes, when that fear comes. We understand that the foundation that we have, the core of who we are, is in Jesus.
This is the plan. Going back to the metaphor of the house, we have someone, we don't know them yet, they haven't come over, but they're building a house behind our house. And so we've been watching this process as the frame, they first dug into the foundation or the ground to put that foundation in, and then they started putting the walls up. Now there's a roof on it, and they actually put windows in, but it's still got a ways to go. If they just came every day and said, what do you want to do today? Should we put a wall over there? Should we, how high? No, they have the blueprint, right? They have the plan of what that will be. So they're following that. The workers are following that to build the house that the owner wants to have built. Well, we believe as followers of Jesus that we've given the ownership of our life over to Jesus himself, right? We put our faith in him and we said, my will is no longer my priority. I want to be in your will. And so if Jesus is the owner of our life, we should be building our life on his foundation, on his manual, his blueprint. And as we do, we will see our life flourish, not only for ourselves, but so that we can be a light to this world.
Amen.
So think about that. Talk about that today. And we hope to see you again tomorrow for another daily dose
for spiritual growth.